Hi, welcome back to my channel. Today I wanted to talk about some of the books by Black authors that I have personally read and really enjoyed, and some of the books that I'm really looking forward to reading and supporting. I can 100% admit that I have not purposely gone out and read really diversely. I do read a lot of white people. I don't know why I have not read that many books by Black authors. We all have made mistakes in the past, we all are not perfect, so I can definitely remedy that, and I will make sure that going forward I will definitely read more diversely as much as possible. I don't want this video to be super long, but I just want to quickly mention 6 books that I read that I really enjoyed and 6 books that I'm really looking forward to reading quite soon. So let's start off with one of the probably the most famous and the most important YA books that you can pick up at the moment is The Hate You Give, or Thug, by Angie Thomas. It tells a story of a 16-year-old star who witnesses her best friend getting killed by a police officer. It sounds familiar, doesn't it? It was such a powerful read back when I read it when it first came out. I can't find my copy, I probably lent it out to someone. It's astonishing that despite being a fictional story, it feels as it just happens so often these days, and we hear more and more stories like this happening, and it really tackles the racism and the indifferences and injustices that Black people go through on a daily basis. I highly recommend picking this up. It's not an easy read, but it's such an important read, and if you're one of those parents that I have spoken to in the past that say, oh well, my child can't read about racism or about Black people, go and educate yourself. This is embarrassing. This is such an important book. Next up I want to mention Black Flamingo by Dean Atta. This is a story told in verse and has loads of colourful, well, black and white illustrations, but Dean Atta has told the story of this mixed-race boy who is half Jamaican, half British, and he is gay, but he can't come out to his parents because he knows all the horrible things that they might say or feel, and he really likes drag, so he wants to dress up and go out and just be himself. This is such a beautiful, quick read. I think, again, when I read it last year, just really brought my worldview into focus and really highlighted how people can be hurting while you think everything's fine and everything's okay, but it's really not. Dean Atta really is just such a gorgeous human being, and the words that they use in this book is just absolutely stunning. I didn't think that I would vibe with this kind of storytelling. I haven't read many books that are told in this kind of format, but ever since I've picked up Elizabeth Acevedo's Poet X and a couple of others that have been told in that kind of format, I absolutely enjoy them. You fly through them, but they stick with you for a long time. Next up is Children of Blood and Bone by Tomi Adeyemi, and this entire series, really, there's 2 books in this series out now. This is a fantastic African-inspired young adult fantasy story following our main character Zelia, I think that's how you pronounce her name, and in this world all the magic has been stripped away from the world, and she actually has the power to possibly bring it back, so she goes on an adventure to try and save her people and bring back the magic. Tommy's writing is so fantastic. This is such a fantastic book, and the second book recently came out as well. I haven't picked it up yet, but I'm really looking forward to reading that as well. But Tommy is such a beautiful person. I watched quite a few interviews with her on YouTube. Please go and look it up. She's such a stunning human being, and I'm so happy that she has put her words into this stunning novel. It's full of romance, fantastic character building, and beautiful world, and the magic system is really thought through and interesting. I highly recommend this book. I definitely wanted to mention a picture book that I read, I think this year. It's called... Hi, editing me here. It's actually pronounced Sulve. I didn't want to mispronounce it because it's an African name, so this is me dropping it in. Sulve. By Lupita Nyong'o. It's a beautifully illustrated picture book. that tells the story of this little girl, and her skin color is really dark, and she really worries because she doesn't have any friends of that skin color, and her parents are not as dark, so she feels like she doesn't fit in. And then I think almost like she's talking to like goddesses, or someone is telling her a story. I think her mum is telling her a story of these two sisters, night and day, and one of them is super bright and super light, and the other sister is really dark like the night, and they both have their beautiful moments, and there are so many shades in between when day changes into night and night changes into day. I see if I can find a few pictures from the storybook. I highly recommend that you go out and read it. I think Lupita has personally been criticized for her dark skin color, but I think she's such a gorgeous human being, and this story really hit hard, and I think it's a really important story to tell little girls and little boys and little people, and just to spread the love and awareness. It's so gorgeous. I couldn't mention this list without Michelle Obama's Becoming. It's her biography that she wrote starting somewhere around her early childhood and ending with the end of Barack Obama's presidency. I listened to the audiobook about a year and a half, almost 2 years ago now. It was amazing. She is just an inspirational woman. She has achieved so much herself besides all the achievements that her husband has achieved. She has a beautiful family, and there was one quote that really stood out for me. When she was trying to pursue this position in I think it was a charity, so they couldn't pay her what she has earned previously in her previous jobs. And she told the employers, I couldn't be shy or embarrassed about my needs. The fact that she needed a particular sum of money a month to be paid to actually be able to survive and live and provide for her family. And I think it just shows how strong she is as a woman, and a woman of colour, and just to pursue and put aside all these socially constructed injustices. It's a stunning read. If you haven't picked it up yet, please do. There's also apparently a Netflix documentary about her book tour. I'm 100% watching that. And lastly in my read list is Candice Carty-Williams' Queenie that came out last year. This is a story of a woman called Queenie, who is a Jamaican-British woman, and she has recently broken up with her white and quote-unquote racist boyfriend. Well, his family is really racist, and she's struggling a lot mentally following the breakup, and she goes into doing a lot of things that probably she shouldn't be doing, but it's all she can do to make herself feel a bit more human. It really tackles the racism in Britain especially, and it's a really hard read. Everyone has said that, oh, it's a light-hearted, fun story. It has its funny moments, but it's definitely one of those reads that you read and you're like, oh, it hits you hard. And I think it's a really important book as well, considering everything that's going on. If you read Eleanor Oliphant, it's completely fine. Please do pick up Queenie. You will absolutely fall in love with this. On a separate note, I do have 2 proof copies that I didn't request any of these. They were sent to my work last year, so I ended up with one and my friend gave me the other one. So I didn't personally ask for them, so I don't have any connections to the publishers or anything, but I will see if I know how to, but I would like to do a giveaway. I would like to give away these 2 copies to some of you, 2 of you, who can actually read and then go out and continue spreading the word and learning. And I think if this is the small thing that I can help with. So please check either in the description or see if I can write something, or check my Instagram, and I hopefully will be giving these away. Next up would be the books that I want to read by Black authors. The first one is Watch Us Rise by Renee Watson and Ellen Hagen. This is a story of 2 girls who try and fight for feminism in their school. So they post a lot of stuff online, poems, information about microaggression that they've experienced, especially Jasmine, who is the black girl, and other informative stuff to really spread the word. And then the school really shuts down that because they start receiving a lot of hate and a lot of trolling. So this is a story of them kind of coming together and fighting that and try to watch them rise. Try to fight through and really spread the information in a different way. I've never really been, I guess, I don't read a lot of contemporary YA, so this would be exciting for me. Books and Lala really raved about it last year, so I do have a proof copy that was sent to me unsolicited, but I would like to pick it up. Next up is the newest N.K. Jemisin book, The City We Became. It's her new novel, it's a new series. This one is particularly about New York and how New York and every city has a soul, and there are 5 pieces to the soul and trying to protect the city from evil. I love everything N.K. Jemisin writes. Her writing is just so beautiful and her stories are just phenomenal and out of this world. I love the 5th season series especially. It's one of my favourites. It's a good fusion between sci-fi and fantasy and like dystopia. It's gorgeous, so I can't wait to pick this up. Next up is Black Leopard Red Wolf by Marlon James. This has been a recent release, I think in the last year. It's a new dark fantasy, all inspired by African mythology, and it talks about how this one mercenary is hired to find a child. I don't know much about it, but it sounds like such a rich, beautiful dark story, and I was really hoping to read it finally. I know it's come up in paperback already, and it's just, I really find it hard to commit to like really chunky fantasies at the moment, but I'm really looking forward to picking this up. And Marlon James has previously written one of the, I think, really popular books called A Brief History of 7 Killings. I've never read it, but I think he is a really good writer from what I've heard, so I can't expect anything than amazing. And another fantastic new fantasy book that recently came out, The Rage of Dragons by Evan Winter. He just came out of nowhere and has conquered the fantasy world. Murphy Napier absolutely enjoyed this story. I can't wait to give it a try. It's all about dragons and like dark societies and the world trying to like reconfigure itself. It just sounds fantastic. I don't know why I haven't picked it up yet. It's been out for a while, and I know the second one is coming out this year as well, so please go and check it out. Next up is Such a Fun Age by Kylie Reid. This has been just raved about, I think from January. This was a part of Reese Witherspoon's book club, and just look at the author. Absolutely gorgeous. I've heard such great things about this book. This is a story about a black woman who is babysitting a white child, and the police or some people accuse her of stealing that child, and she gets arrested. So there is a white woman who comes to her rescue and tries to help her and find out what really happened. What? Why would that even ever be a problem? I was kindly sent this by the publisher. I requested it from Bloomsbury. I still haven't read it. Don't tell them. But yes, it's really high on my list now. I really need to pick this up. Next up is a fantastic new YA fantasy called Cinderella is Dead by Kaylin Bayron. I hope I said it right. I tried it like 5 times. This is a new twist on the Cinderella story, but set 200 years after the Cinderella story. And there is this ball that all 16-year-old girls have to go to, and if they don't find their mate, their soulmate, at the ball, they basically disappear. And this girl, Sophia, decides that she doesn't want that, and she escapes the ball, and she finds that there is more to the original story that we know. It sounds fantastic. Look at the cover. Isn't this absolutely gorgeous? I think it's coming out in August. I don't know if it's out in America already, but in the UK it's coming out in August. So I have already pre-ordered it. It will be coming to me, and I don't know, I can't promise that I'll read it like straight away, but I am really excited to read it. But yeah, this is a really small amount of books that I have read and I'm looking forward to reading by black authors. I will be doing more research into non-fiction. I don't read a lot of non-fiction already, so I know that going out and finding books that will educate me will be a little bit more difficult, but I will be doing everything else that I can, listening to videos, educational podcasts. There's a really cool university program that they do, I think it's the University of Ohio or something, Utah, one of those, maybe I'll link it below. Basically goes through the black history, so I will be listening to that. I'm going to support those in need of being heard right now. I still pinning the comment down below with all the resources that you can donate, support, educate yourself, go and be the best you can be. Thank you so much for watching. Like, subscribe, comment, do whatever you feel like. This is a free world. And I see you in my next one. Bye!